YouTube, how you doing? It's been a while. Obviously because of lockdown I haven't been doing any videos about the go-kart or anything, but yeah, found myself a new hobby for the right time being, and this is what I want to talk about. So this is the FTX DR8. So I went online looking for a remote control car because a few of my friends have got one recently, so I thought, well, you know what, I'll join them, have a bit of fun. Now, I've had cars before. I'll show you over here. I've got quite a few remote control handsets. Yeah, a few bits and bobs. You know, I've played around with remote control cars a bit. I've actually had a brushless remote control car with my last one, but 1/10 scale, quite small, and cheap. So you know, it broke straight away, and you kind of give up pretty quickly after that. It gets frustrating. So I went online and did a bit of research. I wanted a 1/8 scale, so I wanted a quite big car. You can get bigger, 1/5, whatever. But yeah, they start to get really pricey. Now, I didn't want to spend a huge amount on my first car. Should I say first car? First larger car, first sort of real hobby grade car. So I figured 350 for this, which is a bargain for a 1/8. It's actually a 6S. You can run it on 4 or 6S, so pretty powerful. Yeah, it claims 100 kilometers an hour. Trust me, it's fast. So I don't know, I haven't done a speed test, but I haven't got the equipment to do that. But I just wanted to run through a couple of things that that I found with the car, and a bit of advice if you were to buy one, because this is, I feel, going to be a popular car. It's been out for a while in different names and whatnot for different companies, but it's the same car really. But yeah, this has a really good price tag to it, and it's ticking a lot of boxes of the size, the size of the components on it, the speed at which it goes, obviously, and the price. So yeah, it's I think it's going to be quite popular. So let's start. First off, if you're going to buy one, I would stick a washer on that, because that fell off. It's come off a couple of times now. First time it actually just unwound, but I glued that back on, and then this time it's pulled the screw through the hole there. So yeah, put a washer on the back of that, just give it a bit more time, because actually that's there and to help. I mean, you can see I've landed it on its roof a few times, lost gone through a screw through that. So, but yeah, I mean, once that's off, you've got your protection, so you're landing straight onto your top rear shock towers. Of course, actually something else fell off then. So where's that piece gone? So let me just take the top off anyway. So you got your 4 clips. I've not put them back on since I took it off. Come on. Yeah, so stick that over there. Yeah, so because I lost the tyre, that bit came off the back, but it's no big deal. It's just cosmetic, couldn't care less. But probably will stick it back on. What I do actually like about this, before I move on, is it's actually like a structured skeleton frame. So it's quite rigid. It's a little bit heavier than a regular sort of cheap flimsy top, but it offers a lot more strength support than than a regular shell. So I quite like that. It's not the best looking car in the world, but it's that's definitely helped with the rigidity. So the first time I took it out, I didn't have any problems, but to be honest with you, I was a bit tame with it. Didn't give it the beans as much as I have done the second and third and fourth time out. So inevitably I'm gonna cause more and more damage the faster and harder I hit it. First thing you want to do if you do get one of these is, let me just pop this underneath there. This rear shock pivot brace, whatever you call it, it broke the second time out. It broke down here. It's pretty common. There's a lot of people on YouTube showing this same car. So if you're looking for one and you might have now seen a few reviews that say the same thing. Do yourself a favour. If you buy this car, buy one of those with it. It's only about £13 from Model Sport. But if you go out the first time and you break it, you're going to be waiting a few days for that part. So I'd just order it, and also you're going to pay like £3.50 postage on top of the £13. So if you just buy it with the car, it'll be free and it'll come with it. So yeah, get that. It's going to break, I guarantee you. Have it there ready. So what happened was, the second time also I went out, I noticed after I broke that I'd actually bent the shock tower forward. So what I did was bent it back because the chassis was starting to, see, these pins were close together, so the lid went on, but it was very tight, so it would have just got worse. So I fitted my own chassis brace. So you can see I've actually screwed it straight through, so drilled and tapped that straight through the plastic. This is actually plastic, but where the drill line, the hole of that lines up perfectly in front of the shock tower to keep it rigid. Now you might notice that actually it has since bent. So I went out the other day and I had a massive impact because I didn't have the tyre on the back, so the shock tower took the brunt. But look, if you can see that, that's actually stopped it from bending. It's actually just bent the corner. I can bend that back, which I probably will do. It's going to be weaker, so I might have to replace that shock tower anyway. Again, I think it's about £15. That's nothing too bad. Yeah, but it's definitely held up. This is a nice piece of aluminium that I had lying around. It's actually quite a high grade bit of aluminium, very, very light. The last thing I want to do is add any weight to it because they're quite heavy, these cars, but they need to be with the components that are on them. So there's a couple of original bolts that go through into this aluminium piece and into the I think it's this hold on the chassis brace here, the front one, which is obsolete now anyway. And then this one I added because I felt that those are quite thin, so if you get a massive impact on the back, it's going to shear the top of the heads off those and it's going to round forward. So I added that as a support. I've also, you can't really see it, but there's a notch out of here, so it's not just relying on these heads, it's actually notched onto the metal, so that metal's pushing again hard onto that piece. But yeah, it serves its purpose, and I did some big bashing, took some big jumps, so it's quite good. It's held up pretty well everywhere else. Another thing I would say is I would change the diff oil. I read about this about another car, but a few people have also said that the diff oil, you want to change to 300,000 weight, because you tend to light up the front wheels, especially if you get a bit of water in them. Just lights them up, leaving the back to sort of drag along behind, and you get that ballooning. You haven't got your drive now. Obviously, when you do put thicker oil in, what's going to happen is it's going to allow the front wheels to spin faster still, but not such a big a difference to the rears. So that's going to give you better launch, but the downside is you suffer with a bit of back end spin, so it's a bit harder to keep in a straight line. But I'm going to give that a go anyway. Another guy, I can't remember his name now, I was watching a video the other day, the DR8, and he's done like 300,000, sort of 15 and 20 or something like that. But I'm going to go on there and change those up the same. Might just do the centre first. Not too concerned at the moment about the rear and front diff splits, but we'll see. What I would advise as well is, if you're changing the wheels out, is the front shocks. Now the rear shocks are nice. I mean, maybe a little bit too heavy as well. I mean, it is very cold. It is probably about 4 degrees in here. So yeah, you see that's sticking, but it's normally quite good. But the front, it's just terrible. Look at that. It's just far too thick, the oil is in that. Either that or there's something else wrong. I mean, I did go through and tighten a few things up, then I figured it was sticking, so I loosened them off again. It did improve it a bit, but I don't know what's going on there, so I need to just check those shocks. But of course, it doesn't really affect it that much, because as soon as you accelerate, you're lifting the front end up again, and it's ready there for the next shock. The rear, that hunkers down, but as soon as you jump and lift the weight off, they're straight back onto full. So yeah, the suspension's blush, and it takes a beating. Obviously, when you do go off a big jump, it does bottom out, the chassis, hence the change in colour over time, but it takes it. Now, that sort of brings me, oh yeah, it's a bit dirty. I cleaned it, but I'm going to take it all apart anyway, so I'm going to clean it individually. I've got to look into that actually. How do you clean an RC car? You can't just stick a jet wash on it, can you? So, although actually that brings me to another point. This box here, it's supposed to be a waterproof housing box. Actually, what I ended up doing was putting some silicone grease around the gasket, well, the lack of gasket, so that when I shut that, it made a nice tight seal, because there was actually water in that after my first day out in the water. So you might want to do that first off. Apparently there's another trick you can do as well for when you're slamming the car down, as I was saying before, is take the motor off and put some silicone glue underneath that, just to stop the impact of this hitting the deck when you do bottom it out. I don't know whether it's the bottom it out, but the last time I killed the servo, so you hear it started off normal then, and now it's just stripped the gear. There's something stripped there. Weak point on the car, it's only a 15 kilo. It is waterproof apparently, but I'm going to swap that out to a 25 kilogram from, I think it's Amazon. It's about 20 quid. I mean, you can get them for about 13 from eBay for this. Looks like the same one, but don't know. We'll see. But I don't like buying cheap. You buy twice. But what I'm definitely going to do is go for a higher rating, because it certainly needs it. I mean, like I said, it's quite a heavy car. Another thing I've done is, after the first time I went out in the water, these were ballooning massively, and it turned out that they were worse because they were full of water. So obviously on all RC cars you have the holes inside here, and the idea of that is to take the impact, as you all know, or you may not know. But the problem is you've got foam in here as well, so the water goes inside there, gets the centrifugal force, it gets pushed into the foams, and the foams just fill up with water, and those things become like twice the weight. I mean, this thing's, it's not too bad, but you know, I got it out and I was like, whoa, these are bloody heavy. And you went like that, and all the water just came out the inside. Now, I haven't actually done this one, but what I've done is drilled, you won't be able to see it, but I got a 1mm drill, a very small drill. I did 3 holes evenly around the tyre, nice and straight, so that you don't cause any angles, because that will just potentially turn into a tear. So don't try and do it like a friend of mine said he would, which was with a Stanley knife, because basically that's a recipe for disaster. What's going to happen then is it's just going to, if you put a slit in it, it's just going to get longer and longer and longer, just tearing. And especially when you're bluing the tyres, it's just going to rip to pieces. So yeah, three little holes in them. World of difference, obviously. To get the out first, just hold the car. I advise doing it under a box or something, in your garage or outside, and spin her up, and the water just gets thrown out of there, and within no time they're completely dry, and you're ready to go. Obviously it's going to save your battery as well, because it's not putting all that load. I mean, it really did weigh a ton. Yeah, okay, the other thing is this car didn't come with was a link. Now, I'm assuming when this car was designed, most of the batteries were sort of 3S, 4S maximum. Well, now you can get 6S batteries, one single 6S. So this is designed for 3Ss. I'm making speculation there, but I'm assuming it was, they didn't have 6S out at the time because they didn't provide a link. So I've just made that link. Now what I did is actually nick a bit of this wire here, because this is a bit longer, and cut it off, and I had a link after some XT90 connectors that I bought. Just, yeah, does the job, so you can just use one big cell battery. So I've got 4,000 and 4,000, sorry, I've got a 4S and 6S battery, 5,200 for the 6S and 6,000 for the 4S. So, but man, it doesn't have to go on for a long time. It really does. It's probably 40 minutes, 45 minutes running time. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. Obviously it's a fresh battery, but yeah, it's and on 4S, this thing rips. You know, it's absolutely manageable. It's fine. It's fast. It's fun. It's brilliant. You switch to 6S and it just turns into a crazy machine. It's just so fast and so responsive. You know, if you're used to these kind of cars, then it's probably nothing, but this is amazing. I mean, the difference between 4 and 6 is just ridiculous, but I almost prefer driving it on 4 around the BMX track, because it's just more controllable. You're not going to be doing backflips and stuff like that and wheelies, but yeah, it's nice enough on 4S. But you know, if you do get one, see for yourself. On 4S, you don't get your wheelies, as I was saying, but 6S you do on grippy ground. But that's the thing about this car, you see. A lot of cars 1/8 that you see out there are kind of truggies or off-road buggies. Now the buggy is obviously lower slung, truggies are a bit higher up, and then you've got your monster trucks. But the monster truck and the truggy tend to have bigger tyres, big wider tyres. So I showed you earlier those tyres over here. So I mean, this is off a 1/10 scale, but you know, this is you see now these wheels are a bit smaller actually, but they're definitely wider. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see that. Well, it might help if I put it next to it. Yeah. So yeah, but they're sort of probably normally as big as this on a 1/8, but wider and more like that with a softer rubber. Yeah. And these they're quite hard. They're more. Well, it's a desert buggy. It's not the same as a truggy, but you tend to have a bit more grip. Almost, I don't know if you have short wheelbase, but they tend to wheelie out a lot more. Just wheelie, backflip off the line, stuff like that. This has the power easily to do that, but the tyres will give way before it does a backflip. It can do it on 6S if the grip's right. And actually, I haven't driven it in the dry because it's all been wet since I got it. I've only had it a few weeks. But yeah, that's just something I thought I'd point out. But yeah, it's a brilliant car. So. And yeah, I would really advise buying one for the price. It's amazing. It's just brilliant. It's a great all-rounder. It'll do your bashing, it'll do your straight line speed, and you know, you can have a good race with your friends around the track if you wanted to. I'm sure you can tweak it up and change tyres, make it into more of a truggy, change the lid. You can put road tyres in it and stiffen the suspension and make it more for the road. You can do whatever you want. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I really would recommend it. Really pleased with it, and can't wait to go out and play with it again after I've changed that servo and a few other bits and bobs. But yeah, well, thanks for watching. I'm going to finish the video with some little shots of us around the track. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and yeah, put some comments underneath if you want to. Cheers.
You know what the room is now, I thought I could get up there. Look at me walking.
Look at the brake. I was on the brakes back then.
What's that? Maybe they've come loose. Might have come unglued. Let me get on the end of the You want steering? Bring it over to me and I'll have a look. Definitely broke now. You haven't knocked the steering, what do you call it? Yeah. See that isn't there, yeah. Watch my car now.
What?
Watch my car this time though. Bring it to a standing still. What the fuck is that? What's all that? Oh, I just want. That just load of mud. It's like a moss.
Hopefully.
Is it the wheels? It's like a load of moss.
They're fine.
Nah, it's some.
That looked like it exploded.
You sure? Yeah, no, it's fine. Because of the stick on the camera, I can't need to pull it in. I fucking need danger money.
The only thing I noticed is, it doesn't centralise that well.
Yeah, the steering, I might collaborate it this week.
Collaborate?
Yeah, it's might collaborate or something. Collaboration or something like that.
What's that? Calibrate?
Calibrate, sorry, yeah, calibrate.
You've got that on video. Have you got that video, Bob?
Yeah, whatever. Hey! That's dead. You took mine out, yeah? Ah! Oh, wet, muddy. God, I can't actually keep up with it on the camera. I'll get one coming back this way. Oh yes! That should look pretty good. Oh, I missed the puddle. back that way? Yeah. I think you've even got the like, camera in or something.